Okay, so I haven't made a lot of content recently, and by a lot I mean I don't think I've made anything aside from just like personal tweets and stuff like that. Um, and a lot of that has more to do with I have done a lot of transitioning slash changing in the last like probably week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, however long it's been since I've made a podcast or a uh, vlog video or anything like that. But during that time, a lot has happened, and a lot of good things have happened, and it's been pretty cool. Um, I I guess to start off, I kind of transitioned my company at the beginning of, mm, I guess at the beginning of November ish, into a different sort of focus. It's still a related industry, still a related field, but it is a different focus. And this kind of came along by talking to my current boss and him suggesting a couple of things, and so that was kind of a helpful um, transition period, because at the beginning of November, I asked my current boss, who's also the owner of a restaurant group in Indiana, um, how did he get to where he was? Not that I'm interested in really owning restaurants. It's not really my um, thing that I'm interested in. Not something that I want to do, but it is a he has a lot of understanding of starting businesses. He has a lot of understanding of how to get from where he was to where he is now, and he like started out as a restaurant dishwasher. Like he was washing dishes in a restaurant, and he's worked his way to where he is now. And so I really respect that, and I wanted to kind of get his insight and stuff like that. And what was nice about the meeting and about the um, conversation was he confirmed and also um, I don't know. I feel like ratified is not the right word, but we're gonna go with it. My current path, like he kind of is like, hey, like I did what you did. I basically am worked until I made myself known to the people who mattered in my company, and then I continued to work and grind, and just little by little, I built what I had, and that's kind of where how I got to where I am. So that's been a pretty cool experience, understanding that am at least on the right track, which is definitely nice to hear confirmation of that. Um, and then afterwards, we kind of talked about what I'm trying to do with my business. He mentioned something that was mentioned prior to this by another person that owns his own business and owns his own company, who I was talking to about trying to make a client of mine, and he owns a brewery, and he mentioned how he was like, your idea with the delivery service and stuff like that is great. Um, I can tell you that we would obviously want to be on it, sort of thing, but as depending on cost structure and everything like that. But what would really be something that we want is being able to brand our own platform ourselves. So if you could build out the app and then allow us to put our branding and our messaging and all that stuff like that, and how it's just for us, that would be phenomenal. And um, what was kind of I kind of wrote it off at that point in time, but then I talked to my boss, and um, he mentioned the same similar thing that he was interested in, and it was like, "Heck, that's where you should be going." And I thought that, having two people say that very similar thing, almost back to back, was kind of like a instigation for me that I should probably shift my focus away from the current model of the overall industry of kind of creating a Google-ish marketplace for these restaurants to put themselves on, and instead build out platforms for them even individually, because a lot of times these restaurants are just getting fucked in their processing fees and stuff like that. So like, for example, Grubhub charges 30-ish% off the top line of selling stuff for any restaurant that's featured on their first page, or that's one of those ad sponsored restaurants or anything like that. They charge 30% off the top plus their service fee, And then the restaurants will charge a delivery fee usually, and then there's tipping the driver and all these sorts of things. So it's not only expensive for the restaurant, but it's also expensive for the people picking it up. So those are things that like are problematic within this industry, and I think that I can fix them. And so I'm kind of transitioning my business into, more towards that direction. And as confirmation of that, I kind of got my first client that was actually a paying client with that. So something that from that conversation, I talked to my current client and I told them what I was looking at, and they said that they were also interested in building out a website, which is cool because I can do that. It's a thing that I understand how to do and I know how to do, so that's something that I can do. And they said that they would be interested in checking out a potential move going forward into that sort of area, so building out the platform and stuff like that. So right now I'm kind of just working a lot in building out the website for them, and then also trying to figure out how to incorporate a delivery service and an e-commerce functionality into their business itself. And then like they didn't really, and the thing that I kind of want to caveat here is they haven't given me the go ahead with the delivery business sort of thing. Like they said that they were interested in it, but they wanted to kind of hold off on it. There was a couple other people that they were interested in talking to and kind of seeing if they wanted to basically, basically grow low-hanging fruit or grab low-hanging fruit and see from that, which is fine for me. Like I'm cool with that. They gave me enough confirmation to pursue this pathway, and I think the way that I've kind of thought about it so far is that I'm building out the platform, I'm building out the thing so I can kind of try it, taste it, feel how it works, and that way, like even if they end up saying, hey, we're not interested in the delivery platform that you built out, we don't want that sort of thing, I can now have something to show somebody and say, hey, this is what I built for this other entity. They ended up going a different direction, but this is how it works and everything like that. Are you interested in that? Because I know that I can sell and do that sort of thing, and that's something that I can get sort of a start with. And so I went ahead and also I expect them to say yes, and I guess because I'm expecting them to say yes, I'm putting in the work now, just because it's a lot easier for me to put it in now and then maybe not need it or something like that, versus having to rush to get something done. I'm being able to have a lot more thoughtful directional moves for this kind of piece to work out, which is something that I am really nice and appreciative of. So either way, I'm really appreciative of both my boss kind of pushing me in that direction and saying, hey, this is something that I think that you should do, and then from there, me being able to find a client to do this for. Those are all super nice things, and really appreciated. And so like going into 2020 and finishing off 2019, finding my first paying client, I've been in business for, let's see, April of 2019 is when I got incorporated, and I've been working on this company since like May of the year before. So been working on this for quite a while, but also not nearly as long as other people. So I'm feeling very fortunate that I've kind of got this headway started, and so now I'm just kind of trying to figure out the best direction and the best way to use this momentum and keep building it forward, because this is potentially a very awesome doorway and opportunity for me to grab and seize a hold, and I'm just trying to make sure that I take it for all that it's worth and learn from it as well, because I obviously the way that I kind of worked out the deal with my client is that like I'm doing a lot of this basically pro bono work just to prove out the concept, to have an ability to say, these are the metrics, these are the things, because at this point in time in building this business, I am significantly more concerned with being able to show value add and metrics and real world data, so that I can say, yeah, no, this is a legit thing that I have. I can actually build this. I can scale this out. I can figure out how to do that. And so they're giving me kind of almost a testing ground to kind of try all that sort of thing. And what I'm nervous about is there's part of me that really wants to try to bring in another testing sort of client or like a trial client, and there's part of me that wants to try to figure out this first one before I try to beta test with another group and stuff like that. So I haven't quite figured out if I'm going to try to bring in another client and do a similar thing for them, or if I'm just going to sit with this testing. I guess a little bit of it kind of depends on if they do end up going through with the testing and do end up using me for the delivery platform, then that would be what kind of decides whether or not I choose a new client or not, and also how difficult it is for me to figure out their particular needs and requirements for their platform to work, and then whether or not I can do that simultaneously with another client at the time. So that's kind of where I've been. That's a lot of what the news has gone. Also, it's the holidays. It's, this is the day after Christmas. So it's a busy time of year for people and stuff like that. And so that's kind of a little bit of where I've been and why I haven't produced a whole lot of content recently. And I've also realized that I'm not that, I don't necessarily want to say good, because that's not what I mean. Like, I'm definitely not Joe Rogan with a podcast, or any of these other people, Ari Marcus or anything like that. Like, those are people who are phenomenally better communicators and stuff like that than I am. And I am also realizing that I'm more interested in understanding the practicality, understanding the operational pieces of things and of business and stuff like that, versus actually like doing those sorts of things. And so what my goal is with this kind of interaction with anybody who is following and anybody who is interested in this is being able to provide firsthand experience on the journey with. So like I think I said before that my goal is to document, not create, and that is legitimately my goal. I'm not trying to use this as a marketing piece. I'm not trying to use this as a clout piece or anything like that. I am legitimately just trying to kind of provide value as I see that I feel like I have it, and a lot of that I'm trying to make sure that I maybe pick it up and do a little bit more, because I know that from a standpoint of communication and getting this message out there in general, I do have to produce enough content to stay relevant for all the social media algorithms and other posting places and stuff like that, to deem it valuable to put in front of other people. So I am trying to be better at that, but it's one of those things that I'm not great at, and I'm working on it. So yeah, it's kind of like where I've been. I've had a lot of thoughts about a couple of things over the last couple of weeks since I've been gone. A lot of them kind of stemmed from entitlement, and I had like a note that said something about make a podcast about entitlement and stuff like that. And I think I don't really want to necessarily devote an entire video or podcast episode to that entitlement concept. I just inside my social media and inside my social media's friends sphere of influence, there is a lot of people who are entitled and thinking that they're deserving of something, and it really, really pisses me the fuck off, mainly because they think that they deserve to just be given shit. And I realized that a long time ago that I thought that way, and that's why they are friends, and that's why we moved to that direction. But fuck, man, I drank the Kool-Aid on the idea that everything is solely my responsibility, everything is solely my fault, everything is solely on me. And that's not something that I say from oh shit, I need to be concerned with everything, like everything's my fault, and oh no, I'm doing it. Like, that's not what that concept means. The concept of itself is saying that binarily, everything that happens in your life is a direct result of some choice that you have made. Everything. That's like non-negotiable. Like, that's just fucking fact. Like, regardless of if you get ran over by a car going down the road by a drunk driver, still 100% directly proportional to a choice that you made. Had you chosen to sleep in, have you chosen to leave earlier, had you chose to any number of things, had you chosen to do that sort of thing, you would not have been hit by that drunk driver. And that's that what if game, like that sort of thing like that. Do I think that you should beat yourself up about like getting hit by a drunk driver? No, obviously fuck not. Like, you did what you did. You made those choices based off of previous experience of like, hey, fuck, I leave at 9 o'clock. I leave at 9 o'clock. That's what I leave. And like that just so happened that day that drunk driver came in through. Like that fuck. But it is still 100% your choice and your responsibility. You decided to leave at that point in time, and so everything that happens because of that decision is on your chest. And I personally believe that that's a really freeing thing. It's a really nice thing to take into consideration, because the idea and the concept of having somebody else directly responsible of my decisions, or me feeling like somebody else has control of those decisions, makes me feel way worse than understanding that everything is my choice. And when you fundamentally understand, and I don't know if this is because I've had depression in the past and I had thoughts of suicide and stuff like that I go to this place, but like when you understand that literally the choice to live itself is your choice. Nobody can take, like, that is your fucking choice. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can, that is your choice. You decide that you are just going to continue to live, barring any aneurysms or some shit like that. You decide that. Nobody else does. And that is such a freeing concept, because even on the worst days, I can still remember that all of the things that are going on in my life right now are directly resulting of my choices. And I've chosen to put my life in this direction, and I've chosen to do the things that I've done, good or bad, how they turn out. Those are my choices. And I own those. And that's a really, really beautiful thought for me. At least in my opinion. I was talking to somebody about it last night, and they're like, man, that could get super depressing real quick. And I honestly had never thought about it being depressing like that, because that's not how my brain works, I guess. I thought it was the answer to my thoughts of depression and stuff like that, versus the other way around. So it's I guess that's the way I thought about it. But hey, if that's the way you think about it and you think it's going to be depressing and stuff like that, again, that's your choice. You're choosing to believe that direction and believe that way. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong. That's not my job. That's not my prerogative or anything like that. I'm just giving it to you how I see it, how I feel it, and stuff like that. So that's kind of, I guess, my opinion on entitlement. Like, you don't fucking deserve anything. You got your at bat. Everything else you got to work for. Everything else you gotta put your time and energy in. And it's not hard. Like, it's something that I'm doing on Sunday with one of my friends. Potentially maybe another one of my friends, is I'm sitting down and trying to plan out all of 2020. And it's the first time I've ever done that. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know how it's gonna work. I have no idea. But I recognize that for me to make accurate choices and to make those decisions that are leading me to a pathway that I want to go, I need to have an idea of where I'm going. I need to be able, like, it's like a GPS. There's somebody who's gotten to where I'm trying to go in my life. I just need to figure out what they did, reverse engineer it backwards to, like, oh shit, okay, so this is the things and decisions that I need to make. Try to reach out to them, talk to them, read books about them, anything. And then from there, map your life out like that. It's like if somebody's been to, Greenland, it's not like you gotta figure out a new fucking path to Greenland. You just take the same path that they took, and you go into Greenland. You choose to follow that path, and you're in Greenland. Now, I mean, obviously, if we're going to fucking, I don't know, some solar system outside of our galaxy, then that's new pathways and stuff like that. But you still have an end destination in point or in mind, and you're making choices and planning movements that will get you to that end destination, and enjoying the journey along the way. So that's kind of where my life has been. I don't really want to make it as too long of a video or podcast. It's just I wanted to kind of reach out and kind of talk to you guys, saying, like, I'm out here. I'm still relevant. I'm still doing my thing. I'm still working on it and stuff like that. I took some time to go back to the lab and figure some new shit out, because it wasn't working before. We'll see how 2020 treats us, and I'll try to be a little bit more active keeping you guys up to date on my daily sort of stuff like that. I'm going to be posting a lot more to TikTok, and probably going to try to be tweeting more and that sort of thing. But alrighty, cool. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. I can't emphasize enough how grateful I am that you would actually give me the time to listen to my voice and listen to me, talk about shit. So it's truly, truly an honor. Thank you so much.